Hi guys and welcome back sa ating subject, Advanced Engineering Mathematics. And for today, we will be continuing our discussion with Laplace transformation. But now, yung topic natin will be the reverse nung ginagawa natin solution for the past lectures natin about Laplace transformation. Our topic for today is called inverse Laplace transformation, and this will be the last topic included in our semifinals exam for this particular subject. Okay, so here's our outline for today. Properties of inverse Laplace transform, and then we have several solved examples to demonstrate to you how to get the value of the function, the f of t function from f of s function. Okay, and then our outcome for this session are as follows. To apply the theorem of linearity on inverse Laplace transform and also to evaluate yung inverse Laplace transform natin given. Right? So let's start. Okay, so as an introduction, so from the definition of Laplace transform, we have already discussed this one, that if a function in terms of t is taken or we perform in Laplace transformation, the result will be a function in terms of s. Okay? So ito yung bine-verify natin before. And we define the inverse Laplace transform or simply an inverse transform denoted by the the symbol L raised to negative 1 or um, ano no, pag sa division, usually kapag 'di ba nasa other side siya, pag nag-divide tayo, nagkakaroon siya ng inverse, no? Inverse sign or um, yan. In our case dito, binabalik natin from the f of s function, then babalik natin siya sa f of t function. Kaya meron tayo dito na L raised to negative 1, f of s is equals to f of t. Meaning, the inverse of the equation or the inverse Laplace transform of the equation f of s is equals to f of t. Okay, so we have here a simple example how to demonstrate or how to solve such equations using inverse Laplace transform. So we have here ano daw yung inverse Laplace transform ni 1 over s minus k. And last time, we have discussed yung ating Laplace transformation using tables. And we can see na si 1 over s minus k is also equivalent to the function 1 over s minus a. So yung k dito is pertaining dun sa a value natin. So if this is the current, if this is the transform equation, if we want to convert it back to its um, in terms of t function, we will get exponential of a t. So for this case, since our a is equals to k, our value of the original function is actually e raised to kt. Okay, so basically, uh, kinda straightforward yung solution niya kasi ang importante is yung familiarity nyo dun sa equation from the table last time, and then following the form nung transform equation so that we can easily make the transform equation back to its original form. Okay, right, so let's solve some examples that we can uh, practice how to apply yung inverse Laplace transform natin. So, but before that, we have here yung properties ng inverse Laplace transform. And I think this is the same as the one we have already discussed on the first discussion or first lecture regarding Laplace transformation. The first one indicates that if we have a constant number inside the function, we can factor out the constant outside of that Laplace transformation. So here, you can see that the function of s in terms of s is multiplied by constant or meron siyang coefficient na constant. So, as a property ng Laplace transform, or also the inverse Laplace transform, we can factor out that c outside of the transformation, and then we can perform yung ating inverse Laplace transform as is na na-factor out na natin yung c natin o yung constant. Okay? And also the second one, we have here um, a number of terms involving multiple equations in terms of S na meron silang respective coefficients, no? So we have here two terms na functions of S, and then they have their respective coefficients C1 and C2. From our previous discussion, sabi, if we have an equation inside of the transformation, or we have in a two or more number of functions inside the transformation, we can actually uh, perform individual transformation of those terms inside it. So dito, nangyayari dito, pinaghiwalayan lang natin yung first term, ito yon, and then makikita nyo, in-apply na si property number 1, which is si C1 was factored out outside of the first transformation, and then plus, since this is plus, so this is also plus, then factored out si C2 from the inside of the equation, and then natira is the function in terms of S inside. Okay, so basically the same property that has been used for Laplace transformation is also applicable for inverse Laplace transform. But later we will have an additional property that will be useful when you are solving Laplace transformation in other forms, or getting the inverse Laplace transform of a given f of s equation when it is substituted or with a variable of s minus a. So later, discuss natin yan fully. But for now, we can use these properties to solve the following example problems. All right? So let's have the first one. So I have here in reference the table that we have used from the previous lecture, so that we can easily identify which of these uh, transformation are useful for our problem. So we have here, evaluate the inverse Laplace transform of 2 over s over 5, s raised to 5. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a constant in the numerator. So from the definition of property 1, we can already factor that out. Okay, so we have here 2 L negative 1, then we have 1 over s raised to 5. Okay, so if you have this as your function, all you need to do is to check yung second column natin, which is ito, yung transform equations natin. And as you can see, if you browse dito sa atin, ano yung pwede nating ma-identify na medyo katulad nito? Si first one is almost the same, but yung value ng denominator niya is has an exponent of greater than 1. So, hindi siya pwede. No? Si sa second one is dapat meron siyang naka-minus na variable or number, or constant number. And also, naka-raise lang siya sa 1. Okay? So, sa number 3, ayan. So, maybe this one. Ito yung pwede natin magamit as our reference na transformation. Wherein, si t raised to n, sabi niya, pag transform natin from f of t, transform natin to f of s, ang equivalent value niya is n factorial all over s n plus 1. Okay? So here we can see na yung denominator natin can conform dito. Okay? And ang kailangan natin ngayon is to satisfy yung form ng numerator natin, which is check muna natin kung ano yung value ng n natin. Kasi we need to identify yung value ni n. So dito, from 5 equals yan sa n plus 1. So upon solving, we can calculate na si n ay equal sa 4. So to have this kind of form, kailangan mag-introduce tayo ng 4 factorial para magkameron ng 4 factorial doon. And to do that, since ito is, hindi naman tayo pwedeng basta maglagay lang ng 4 factorial sa numerator. To maintain yung linearity na tinatawag natin dun sa mismong function natin, or to not disrupt yung mga laws natin sa algebra, we can actually multiply a number equal to 1 na naka-equivalent sa 4 factorial. What do I mean? So, halimbawa, multiply natin sa 1 to. No? Multiply natin sa 1. Okay? So, the same equation yan. Pag multiply natin sa 1, this is the same as that one. Okay? Pero yung 1 na yon, we can change that or manipulate yung 1 na yon to be what? To be a value na kailangan natin. 4 factorial over 4 factorial, which is also equivalent to 1. Okay? Now, itong loob natin para ma-convert natin pabalik dun sa kanyang f of t function, we need to have a 4 factorial dun sa loob niya. Kasi nga, yung s raised to 5 natin is actually 4n is equals to 4. So, ibig sabihin, ipapasok natin or we will put the numerator of 4 factorial inside. Since this is a multiplication, we can actually manipulate or we can, if we can factor out a number inside nung ating transformation, we can also transfer back a number or put a number inside ng transformation natin. As the same principle applies dun sa property number 1 natin. Okay? So, if I try to simplify this, we will have 2 over 4 factorial, which is ito yun, yung nasa ilalim niya. Nilipat ko lang dito. Then we have L negative 1, then 4 factorial all over S raised to 5. Okay? And this particular transformation or inverse Laplace transform is equivalent dun sa t raised to n natin, which is, for this case, n is equals to 4, so t is equals to 4. Okay? And then, to simplify this, we can actually do the factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 factorial. So that is actually 2 lang din, so we can cancel this one out, times t to the 4th. And simplify, we have 1 over 12 times t raised to 4. And this will be our final answer for this particular example. Okay. So, yeah. So, that's how you calculate the inverse Laplace transform of a given f of s function. Right? So, first, again, is to identify which transformation is suitable dun sa given mong function of s. Then once you identify it, you try to make it the same form as before. Okay? So dito, we need a n factorial of value na 4 factorial. That is why we introduce dito a multiplier of 1 which will not disrupt yung meaning or yung mismong value ng ating function. Then we just manipulated si 1 and convert it to a number that we can use, no? Which is yung 4 factorial over 4 factorial. Then, again, we just put the 4 factorial inside the transformation. So, ito na yun. And then, the remaining denominator was multiplied ito sa coefficient natin, which was originally factored out dito sa first solution natin. And then, dito, upon looking at the form here, which satisfies the transform form here, which pertains to sa t raised to n, we easily change that to a value of t raised to 4. And then we simplified 2 over 4 factorial, we get 1 over 12, and then multiplied by the transform equation to f of t, and then this serves as our final answer for this problem. Okay. Right. So next. Okay. Next is we have again a constant numerator, then over a value of s squared plus 49 in the denominator. So as we can see here, s squared plus 49, 49 is actually a perfect square na 7, no? And if we check itong second column natin again, we can see that meron tayong mga denominator pertaining sa s squared plus a squared. So ano yung denominator na yun? We can choose between sine and cosine. But our numerator is actually a constant number. So si cosine is meron siyang dapat variable na s, and then si sine is dapat a constant number a. So definitely ang much useful sa atin is si sine. Okay? So let us just factor out first yung 6. So L negative 1, we have 1 over s squared plus 7 squared. And then, ang gagamitin natin transformation again is si sine 80 transform into a over s squared plus a squared. Okay? So, mula dito sa transform equation natin, ano yung makukuha natin? A value of a is equals to 7. So, kailangan natin ng 7. We need 7 on the numerator to convert it back to the function sign. Okay? So, we need 7. To do that, we need to introduce again a value. So, we can plug it here, 7 over 7, L negative 1, 1 over s squared plus 7 squared. Okay? Then we can plug the 7 back inside the transformation. So we have 6 over 7, L negative 1. Then we have 7 all over s squared plus 7 squared. Okay? Then once this equation satisfies the equation for the transformed equation of the Laplace transformation table, we can actually transfer it back to the its f of the equation, which is sine 80. So, ang a natin dito, again, is 7. So, this transformation is equivalent to sine of 70. So, as our final answer will be 6 over 7 sine of 70. Okay, so this will be our final answer. Okay, right. So, okay, moving forward to another example. So we have here 2s minus 9 all over s squared plus 2. So we are having a rational function, no, or a rational fraction wherein our numerator and denominator are set of polynomials. Okay, so in these cases, what we can do is to separate the value of the numerator, or we can actually um, separate this into two terms, bearing in mind that we can use a denominator, the same denominator for both terms, no? So this particular example can be rewritten as 2s all over s squared plus 2. Okay, so let me just indicate lang yung ating L negative 1. Okay, and then we have minus 9 over s squared plus 2. So when you try to combine them again using LCD, you will just go back to the original equation mo. Okay, so applying yung ating property, so we can actually rewrite this into two transformation, and then we can factor out yung ating mismong uh, constant. Okay, so this is 2 L negative 1 s over s squared plus 2, okay, minus 9 L negative 1 1 over s squared plus 2. Okay, so from here we have s over s squared plus 2, so we are talking about cosine. Okay, then for the second one, so same as the previous example, we are talking about sine. Okay, so all we need to do is to identify our a. So dito sa first example, ang a squared natin ay equals sa 2. So ang a natin dito is square root of 2. Same dito, a squared natin is 2. So ang a natin is square root of 2. Right? So once we know that, uh, we can actually transform it directly. So yung L negative 1, S over S squared plus 2. So that is equivalent na, kunin lang natin, ano, cosine of 80 is equals to S over S squared plus A squared. Then we have sine of 80, we have A over S squared plus A squared. Okay, so uh, for the first term, we can actually change this into cosine of square root of 2t. Okay, but for the second term, we need first to satisfy the numerator. So we need to have the same value of the denominator or yung value of a natin as square root of 2 on the numerator. So what we will do is just a previous example, we multiply a value equivalent to 1, okay, in order to incorporate the needed value in the numerator inside the transformation of the second term. Okay, so we have 2 cosine of square root of 2t minus 9 over square root of 2. And then we will just proceed. Uh, we just assume na nandun na siya sa loob, no? Para hindi ko na siya i-rewrite. So this will be, again, sine of square root of 2t. Okay? So to simplify this, you just need to multiply each term by square root of 2. So this will be 2 square root of 2 cosine of square root of 2t minus 9 sine square root of 2t. So this will be your final answer for this problem. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. This is the first 3 example para dun sa inverse Laplace transform natin. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, so we first discuss an additional property that will be useful in the succeeding examples. So an additional property of the inverse Laplace transform is stated as follows. If we have a value of f of s minus a, we can actually indicate an exponential term raised to negative at, and then the transformation of f s minus a. No? So what does it mean? So let's say we go back to sa original equation natin for Laplace transform. So let's say L, di ba yung original niya is L f of t. Ang Laplace transformation niya is 0 to the infinity e negative st, then whatever inside ng ft natin, dt. Okay? So, if we say na si f of t natin is equal sa s minus a, so this will be 0 to infinity e negative st no, mali pala to. So, if we assume na si s dito, no, si s dito is actually s minus a. Okay? So, yun pala yung tama. Okay? So, what will happen dito? So, this will be s minus a t ft dt. Okay? Then, we simplify. We have negative s plus a. So, parasin may t, no? Distributed. ft dt. And then we have 0, 8, e negative st times e at ft dt. Okay? So, if we look at this equation, we can actually represent it as the main function natin in terms of t, which is equivalent dito. So, meaning, itong value na to can also be equals to 0 to 8 e negative st. Mali. So, this can be L E A T F T. Okay? So, that is an equivalent transformation nun. Kasi, ito, when we substitute it dun sa f of t natin, it will be the same dito. Okay? So, if this is the case, ito daw, di ba, yung value ng transformation kapag yung function natin na f of s, ay naging s minus a. Okay? So ito yung ibig sabihin niya. Then when we perform yung inverse Laplace transform niya, we can say na this is also equivalent to L negative 1 of f s minus a is equals to EAT f of t. Okay? Then when we have this, we can substitute back yung value ng f of t mula dito sa original natin. Okay? Na value. So, if we look at it, dun sa definition natin before ng inverse Laplace. Let me show you. Dito, ayan. Dito sa definition natin, si ft ay equivalent dito sa inverse Laplace ni f of s. Okay? So, we can substitute that dun sa ating transformation dito. So, yung f of t na yon, okay? So, ito basically can be represented as L negative 1 of f of, should be small letter, no? So, f of s. Okay? So, this is equivalent sa L negative 1 or s minus a equivalent to EAT L negative 1 f of s. Okay? So, ayan. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Ito yung ah, pinakabago nating property ngayon. Na kapag nakita natin na yung function natin in terms of s is naka-form na s minus a, ang gagawin daw natin, mag-i-introduce tayo ng exponential na E80 doon. Yung a is yung value nito. And then we can treat yung remaining niya as a function of s na lang, hindi na s minus a. That's why it's indicated here na this means that every result of the inverse transformation under a function with s minus a will always has the result of EAT on the final solution. Okay? So, paano natin yan, i-utilize that? So, let us use that on the succeeding example. So, let's say we have to evaluate 8 over s squared plus 4s plus 20. So, in solving inverse Laplace, you need algebraic manipulation skills, no, to be able to get yung mga factors na kailangan mo. So, this can also be represented as 8 L negative 1. So, 1 over s squared plus 4s. So, if we have L squared plus 4s, to have a perfect square doon, kailangan mo ng value na pwedeng i-add dito para maging perfect square. Kung si 4s, no, yung ating middle term sa binomial natin, sa square of binomial natin, we can get yung additional niya as b squared over 4. We just substitute yung value ng 4 squared over 4. Yung 4 na yun is this 4. Okay? So, this will be equal to 4. So, kailangan daw natin ng 4. Since may 20 tayo dito, pwede natin bawasan yon. And then, tsaka natin lalagay yung remaining 16 doon. Okay? So, continuing our manipulation, this can be represented as s squared plus 4s plus 4 plus 16. Okay? Moving on, we have 1 over, this can be factored out as s plus 2 squared plus 8 squared. No. 4 squared, sorry. Okay? And ano yung papansin nyo dito? Yung form natin is actually the same as the form of sine. S squared plus h. Ito is a constant. Ito ay constant. Then we have an s. Pero meron tayong value na s minus a. So dito, yung s plus 2 natin doon is actually s minus 2. Okay? So ibig sabihin, ito yung value ng a natin. Pag ibabalik natin dito sa transformation natin na to. Okay? Nasabi niya, if we like to eliminate or if we like to transform yung s minus a, which is dito meron tayong s minus 2, gagawin natin, introduce natin yung EAT. So yung EAT, magiging dito, 8 times E. Ang 8A natin is negative 2T. And then mangyayari dito will be 1 over s squared plus 4 squared na. Okay? So, ibig sabihin na wala na siya dun sa loob. Okay? So, ito na siya. Na-transform na siya dito. Ibig sabihin. And then dito, kailangan natin ng 4. Okay? Para dito sa numerator, kasi dapat yung value ng A, di ba? Para ma-satisfy si sine, kailangan yung value ng A. So we need a 4. Pero meron tayong 8. Si 8 can be broken down into 2 times 4, t negative 2t plus 1 over s squared plus 4t. Okay? So ibig sabihin ito, pwede natin ipasok ulit doon. Okay? So this will be 2e negative 2t. And then yung magiging transformation natin, I forgot to rewrite na yung L negative 1, no? Will be equivalent to sine 80 natin, so 4t. Okay? So this will be our answer for this example. Okay? Yeah. So again, what's new in this example is yung presence ng s minus a na factor in your equation. Alright? So dito, nagkameron tayo ng s plus 2 dun sa loob ng s squared lang dapat. Okay? So ito yun. Na itong s plus 2 equivalent yan sa s minus minus 2. So yung negative 2, that is our equivalent a na pinlog in natin dun din sa nilagay natin na E80 dahil may nakita tayong ganitong form. Okay? So, mula dito sa property na to, kapag meron tayong S minus A na form, para mawala yon, lalagay tayo ng E80 wherein yung A yung value nito, and then tsaka natin siya ibabalik dun sa original o yung function niya without yung A na variable. Okay? Okay. So, next, we try another one. So, we have here s over s squared minus 4s plus 13. So, manipulation again. So, we cannot factor out yung s, so we need to perform as is, no? So, s, and then we have s squared minus 4s. So, our b squared ngayon will be negative 4. Okay? So, that is negative 4 squared over 4. So, that is actually equals din sa 16 over 4 or 4. Okay? So, kailangan natin ng 4. So, yung 13 mababawasan, magiging na lang siyang 9. Okay? So, ito yung sa completing the square, no? Kung may tatanong nyo kung saan nanggaling to. If you try to search it sa algebra, completing the square yung tawag doon, no? Para magkameron ng additional dot. Right? Next is, ayan. So, L minus 1, then S over S minus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Okay? Pero before you continue, kailangan, if meron kang S minus A sa ilalim, titingnan mo dito, alin ba yung function na may S din yung numerator? That is cosine. So dito nakalagay S squared tapos S. So ibig sabihin, para siya ng base o para siya ng form. So kung S minus 2 to, dapat yung numerator mo maging S minus 2 din. And paano siya magiging S minus 2? You introduce negative 2 plus 2, which is actually 0 din. Okay? So, L minus 1, ito magiging S minus 2 plus 2 over S minus 2 squared plus 3 squared. So, actually ginagawa natin to as algebraic manipulation. So, pag pinag-plus mo to, this is actually 0 din, which does not violate yung ating original numerator na S lang, no? So, ito, ayan, naging ano lang siya, negative 2 plus 2. Then, what I will do is lalagyan ko to ng quantity. Okay? And then, we can now separate yung dalawang term na to. Itong term na to, yung first term natin, and then ito yung ating magiging next term. Okay? So, L negative 1, S minus 2 over S minus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus L negative 1, 2 over S minus 2 squared plus 3 squared. Okay? Ayan. So ngayon, you will go back to sa table mo. Ang kailangan natin ay si S over S squared plus A squared. So meron ka ng S squared plus A squared. As dito, this is a, katulad nung sa sign natin. So constant lang siya na A. So, tas S minus 2. Tapos kailangan mo ay yung A mo ay 3 din 'to. So, kailangan ilabas mo 'to. Pero kailangan eliminate muna natin yung S minus A natin. So, para mawala yun do'n, lalagyan mo ngayon ng E raised to ang S minus A natin ngayon ay equals to S minus 2. So, A natin is equals to 2. So, 2t tapos 'to magiging Laplace transformation na lang ng S over S squared plus 3 squared. Okay? Same as the other term, L negative 1, ay i-factor out na natin yung 2 sa labas. So 2 L negative 1, this is 1 over S minus 2, S na lang, sorry, S squared plus 3 squared. Okay? So yan. So yan na lang yung ating equation. Now we can actually perform na, dito hindi pa pala, no? Kasi kailangan para ma-apply natin yung sign again, dapat yung A natin same yung numerator. So kailangan natin ng value na 3 doon sa numerator natin. So this will be E2t. So yung first term natin wala nang problema. That can be changed easily to cosine later. Pero dito magiging 2 times 1/3 na lang kasi assume natin na naipasok na natin sa loob yung 3 na nasa numerator na. Okay? Plus 3 squared. Okay? Then pag sinimplify natin, this will be E 2t multiplied by cosine of 3t plus 2/3 of sine 3t. Okay? So this will be our final answer na para dito sa inverse Laplace transformation given. Okay? So ang practice na gagawin nyo lang dito is how to perform yung algebraic manipulation natin and also yung pag-change nung S minus A, no? From the additional property na in-introduce natin. Okay? Right. So next. Okay, so next is this example. Let me check lang. Okay, so this example. So let's try if we can solve this one. So we have L minus 1. Okay. So what can we do here? Okay, so I think we can make it like this. So S plus 2 squared plus 0 squared. Okay? Para same form lang tayo. And then we can actually separate those two terms. So we have L negative 1 of S. Okay, so S over S plus 2 squared plus 0 minus 3L negative 1 of 1 over S plus 2 squared plus 0. Okay, pero this is a bit confusing. So let me try to um, to change it muna na parehas na S plus 2. Okay? So dito muna tayong S plus 2 para magamit natin yung cosine. Okay? Kailangan natin ng S plus 2 din dito sa taas. Okay? Ay meron tayo S minus 3. So ang gagawin ko, L minus 1, then S plus 2, tapos may minus 3 tayo, magma-minus din ako ulit ng 2 para 2 minus 2 is 0. So babalik lang siya dito. Okay? Lower S plus 2 squared plus 0 squared. Okay? So pwede natin separate ngayon to. And then ito will be negative 5 na. So this is L negative 1 S plus 2 all over S plus 2 squared plus 0 minus 5 L negative 1 1 over s plus 2 squared plus 0 squared. Okay? So, to change yung s plus 2, di ba, s minus a is equals to s plus 2. So, this will be s minus 2. So, ang a natin will be negative 2. So, introduce na natin si e, negative 2t. So, this is L, negative 1. S plus 2 will be S na lang. So, S over S squared plus 0. Okay, or S na lang. Kasi wala naman yung 0, no? Para hindi tayo malito. S squared is negative 5. L negative 1. 1 over S squared. Okay? And then dito, mag-cancel out lang yung isang S. So, 1 over S na lang siya. So, it means na ang 1 over S natin equal siya sa 1. Okay? So this will be 1 minus 5 times yung 1 over S squared natin, equal yan dito sa t raised to n natin. Wherein dito, yung n natin is equals to n plus 1 is equals kay 2. So ang n natin ay equals sa 1. So ibig sabihin times t n o t raised to 1. So pag simplify natin, this will be e negative 2t times 1 minus 5. This will be our final answer for this question. Okay? So yan yung solution natin sa kanya. Right? Okay. So next is ayan. So we have here s squared over s minus 1 cubed. Okay? So meron tayong proper fraction wherein yung numerator natin is less than yung degree dun sa denominator natin. So on this kind of problem, if we cannot perform yung algebraic manipulation natin or yung pag nag-add minus tayo ng number, we can actually perform yung tinatawag nating partial fraction. Okay? So I have a recording of this one in my channel. So if you want to check it out to learn how to calculate numbers using partial fraction, ano ko na lang din, i-include ko yung kanyang yung kanyang link so that you can review yung partial fraction. So here we can actually change this one, yung s squared over s minus 1 natin into set of uh, set of terms, no, na pwedeng equivalent. Kaya nga partial fraction, dinidecompose natin yung mismong equation natin into simpler terms. Okay? So this is s minus 1 plus b s minus 1 squared plus c s minus 1 cube. So may different cases yan depende do sa form ng mismong equation mo. So better check yung discussion ko for partial fraction. Okay? So to let us first consider muna itong nasa loob before we continue. So s squared, lagay natin dito. So s squared all over s minus 3, s minus 1 cube is equals to a s minus 1 plus b s minus 1 squared plus c s minus 1 cube. So the goal is to identify yung value ni a, b, and c. Okay, para makuha natin yung kanyang decomposed form. Okay, so ito, tatry kong multiply both side by s minus 1 cube. So matitira dito sa left hand side will be s squared. Dito is a s minus 1 squared plus b s minus 1 plus c. Okay, simplify, we have s squared is equals to a s squared minus 2s plus 1. I-distribute yung b, we have bs minus b plus c. Then s squared, as squared minus 2 as plus a plus B is minus B plus C. So to identify yung mga values niyan, kunin mo yung lahat ng may S squared, pag-equate mo. So sa left hand side, we have 1 na coefficient. Sa right side, we have value na A lang, no? So A. So meaning A is equals to 1. Pag S raised to 1 or S lang, si left side wala siyang S lang. Pero si dito meron tayong negative 2AS tsaka BS. Okay? Equals to negative 2A plus B. Pero alam na natin yung value ni A. Substitute lang natin plus B. So B is equals to negative, magiging positive na yun pag transpose. So B is equals to 2. Okay? Then for C, we have S raised to 0. So ibig sabihin constant. So we have 0 dito sa left side. And we have A minus B plus C. So substitute natin yung values. 0 is equals to 1 minus 2 plus C, or C is equals to 1. Okay, so ito yung value ng ABC natin. This means na yung ating equation, okay, yung original equation natin, can be represented as 1 over S minus 1 plus 2 all over S minus 1 squared plus 1 over S minus 1 cubed. Okay? So ito na yung magiging equation natin, Laplace equation natin dun sa loob niya. Okay? So again, this will be L minus 1. Ito yung transformed na. So we have 1 over S minus 1 plus 2 S minus 1 squared plus 1 S minus 1 cubed. Okay? Then, how can we change this? Okay? So, yung S minus 1 natin, we have S minus A is equals to S minus 1. Okay? So, ibig sabihin ng A natin is equals to 1. So, we can factor out E 1t, no? Or L negative 1 of 1 over S plus 2 over S squared plus 1 over S cubed. So what can you say about yung mga nasa term natin? 1 over S squared, 1 over S cubed. That is actually the same as nung ating t raised to n na transform equation na n factorial over S n plus 1. So this will be ET L negative 1. Ito, yung n plus 1 niya is equals to 1. So, n is equals to 0. Or, 1 over s is actually, ano na, no? Direct na siya. Which is equivalent to 1. Okay? So, 1 over s natin equivalent to 1, sa 1 yan. Okay? So, mag-iwalay-walay lang natin to. L negative 1, 1 over s plus 2, L negative 1, 1 over S squared plus 1, L negative 1, 1 over S cubed. Okay? And perform natin. So this will be 1 plus 2. Then ito, para masatisfy natin to, we need a factorial na how much? 1 factorial lang. So this is already satisfied. So ibig sabihin, that is 2t raised to 1 na agad, no? 2tn raised to 1 plus dito yung n plus 1 natin is equals to 3. So definitely ang n natin will be equals to 2. So kailangan natin ng 2 factorial sa taas. So kailangan natin mag-introduce ng 2 factorial over 2 factorial. So we have 2 factorial over 2 factorial, L negative 1, 1 over S cubed. Okay. So dito, tatanggalin na natin yung 1 tsaka yung 2 factorial dito para ipasok natin yung 2 factorial doon. 2 factorial. Okay? And we have ET, so 1 plus 2t. And then ito will be, 2 factorial is 2 times 1. So that is 1 half. Then this will be t raised to n or t squared. Okay? So, ayan na. So, I think this is an acceptable answer na, or we can just further simplify it as 2 plus 4t plus t squared. Okay, so this is our final answer na for this problem. Okay, so ayan. So another method to solve this is through partial decomposition or partial fraction method, wherein again you have to try or check it out how the solution is conducted like this, no? So ayan. So assignment niyo yun as part of your um, assignment kasi you should already know this during integral calculus pa, no? Kasi it's included in your integral calculus, integration of rational fractions. So I hope you have already or you can uh, restudy this, no? So that you can use it in inverse Laplace transformation. Okay? So okay, so I think this is the last example. So, ayan. So, this ends our lecture for the semifinal. So, this will be our coverage up until the inverse Laplace transformation. Okay. So, if you have any questions or comments regarding this lecture, please don't hesitate to contact me and also leave your comments in the channel if you want. Okay. So, thank you guys and see you again next meeting.